and a lot of virtual in our reality. The COVID-19 crisis has irreversibly changed work and life as we knew it. When we were surrounded by dark clouds, there was this silver lining, that is, the transition to digitization. People were resistant to change, but when our hands was forced, we adapted. And thus, today our mindsets have undergone a huge change. In fact, I took this opportunity of lockdown to start my journey as a Toastmaster. And I learned how this virtual medium is going to be the new life. With all those thoughts, let me explain the rules of virtual meetings. Do not unmute yourself until and unless it is your turn to speak. And after speaking, mute yourself again. Don't write anything inappropriate in the chat box. If your video is on, make sure you sit in a proper position. Don't keep turning on and off your video when a speaker is delivering his or her speech. Please keep your phone in silent mode. Now, it's time to hand over the podium to a wonderful lady. She is my mentor, and I proudly keep on bragging about it. She is hardworking, and even being such talented, I saw her having keen interest in learning more. She mentors Toastmasters not only in India, but outside India too. Please welcome with a huge round of applause the event chair of Division K and also the chair of V Initiatives of VMC Toastmaster Panna.
Let's keep the applause going for a very charming Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Shilpa. Thank you, Toastmaster Shilpa, for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to vInteract, a Virtue Masters Club initiative where we interact with exemplary Toastmasters as they enlighten us with their journey. Today's vInteraction is about shifting gears virtually. And this is the brainchild of Toastmaster Sheetal. Toastmaster Sheetal is the Vice President membership of Virtue Masters Club, and he is an exemplary servant leader. He came up with the idea of this workshop to create awareness about virtual communication skill set and its importance. Now it's time to get the show on the road. And to do that, I would like to introduce the Master of Ceremony. Well, he's someone who joined Toastmasters in March 2018 and has already completed 3 parts. He has won 3 triple crowns in a single year and has recently won the coveted Distinguished Toastmaster crown in June 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the host for the evening and the present District 41 Chair, Pathways Chair, Distinguished Toastmaster Rohan Nag. The mic is yours, Distinguished Toastmaster Rohan.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that wonderful introduction. And to let all of you know, I told ma'am to say those things about me, just in case you don't. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this wonderful session of vInteract version 2.0. Before I start, there are a few wonderful individuals who have graced this meeting with their presence, and I would just like to welcome them on behalf of Virtual Masters Club and the vInteract team. Starting with the past District Director of District 98, Distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nayak. Sir, thank you very much for gracing us in this meeting. Next, I would like to recognize the past President Distinguished Division Director of Division K, Distinguished Toastmaster Satyadeep Basu. Satyadeep, sir, thank you very much for attending this session. And then we have the District Finance Manager, running twice a year this year. Please welcome Toastmaster Gaurav Agarwal. Thank you, Gaurav, for your gracious presence in this meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, This particular person who will be taking and spearheading this session, vInteract 2.0, what do I say about it? I'm pretty sure that 95% of the people who are there in this room can actually give a speech on this gentleman. All of us know so much about it. So the entire day I was wondering, what do I say about this particular person that would be different? And I thought, and I thought, and I thought, and I got it. So today I'm going to tell you all something that I can proudly say that till this moment, only I know in this entire world. No one else does. When I was fortunate enough to become an air director last year, I was in process of chartering a club in the month of August. And believe me, I knew nothing. Like the Jon Snow character of Game of Thrones, Rohan Nag knew nothing. So the only guy whom I kept on calling and calling and calling was distinguished Toastmaster Shayak Chandra. When you charter a club, ladies and gentlemen, there are 6 forms that need to be filled up. Out of those 6 forms, one form is easy, just an Excel sheet. But for all the other forms, I called up Shayak nothing less than 5 times. Maybe I'm saying a less number just to make myself look good. And every time I called him, he was so welcoming. Hey, Rohan, tell me, how can I help you? And guess what? If for any reason he missed a call, ladies and gentlemen, he always called back. Always called back. It is an honor and a pleasure for me to welcome distinguished Toastmaster Shayak Chandra, a friend, a guide, a mentor, and someone whom I really look up to in Toastmasters. With this session titled Shifting Gears Virtually, please put your hands together for the magnanimous distinguished Toastmaster Shayak Chandra.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rohan, for that very warming introduction and the welcome. To be very honest, I was really afraid when Rohan said that I'm going to tell something about Shayak that nobody knows in this world. I just thought, what is that thing that Rohan came to know about me? But thank God, Rohan, you spoke about an experience, and you were a fantastic area director when it was your term, and I clearly remember the interactions that we had. So that was a great memory. Now, coming directly to the business, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I welcome you all to this amazing session, which is shifting gears virtually, which means that today we will talk about how we can present ourselves better in front of a video medium. But ironically, if this would have been a couple of months ago, I would have been the perfect wrong choice to take this particular session, because I was the person, I clearly remember, who was the one who was absolutely frustrated when I came to know that everything is going to become online. Everything is going to become virtual. Like, I could not imagine public speaking, sitting in a room, speaking to a device. For me, it was unbelievable. And still today, if you ask me, I think real interactions cannot be, I mean, there is no alternate to real interactions. It cannot be changed. It has a particular essence, and I think that is very special. But at the same time, when it comes to virtual meetings, I think there is a whole lot of potential that we can leverage out of this entire medium. And the best way to do it is to become very good at it. If at all, if I may say very good at it, it means at least to our own best abilities. So today, this entire session will be based on my experiences and my learnings that I have had throughout this entire, say, 5 to 6 months. And I have found there are few simple tricks, tips, and useful things that we can do in order to present ourselves better in front of a medium. So to do that, I'll quickly share with you a presentation wherein I will talk about few things, but today's workshop or this introduction will not be only about presentation. It will be about the activities that we do, and we will try out something. In fact, with a few people who are interested to do that in this session, we'll try out few things and see if this really works. So, and I think let me put it this way, that I after every workshop, I want that we learn at least something that we did not know before, and at least something that we will do differently. And today my aim is to impart you that, in case if I say everything that you already know, therefore I have this first slide, which is a quote you might not have known. So at least there is one thing new that you will take from this session which you did not know. But however, I will try to have some points for all of us, and some very easy points. There is nothing rocket science in how we present ourselves better, but let's understand how to do it well. So when it comes to virtual meeting, guys, I think the two challenges, if I may say so, or the two aspects which become challenges for many people are these two things. And those two things are the video and the audio. Nothing else, because only the video and the audio are the two things that you hear. In fact, when we do public speaking in a stage, there are so many other things. People actually see how well you are throwing your voice, how well you are presenting, how well you are capturing the stage, and all of those things. But when it comes to virtual medium, all of those factors diminish to a point, and that point is called the lens of the camera. And whatever we do, we have to do with this camera. And I think a great deal of motivation that I have derived personally was from the recent World Championship of Public Speaking by Toastmasters International. I think the way the virtual medium was used, I think that was phenomenal. The way the winner and all the other people, all the other members or all the other contestants used was so amazing that I thought that even if we interact it so beautifully, there are so many other things that can be learned. So before we at all go into that level, which we are not at all discussing today, let's understand how to get our basics right. And with that, I'll start my first thing, and that is the appearance. Now, this is the common appearance, I must say, when it comes to virtual meeting. I am absolutely sure that nobody is sure what is below the waist when we are talking offline. And therefore, I have seen in a particular meeting when it was asked that because it's an icebreaker, all of you will have to give a standing ovation. And I think every person in the meeting who has turned on his or her video were a bit reluctant to stand up. Now I know why. Because we know that only the upper part of the waist will be visible to us. And therefore, let's get that right. And even before we talk about the video and the audio, I thought, let's just touch some of the basics that we normally do, but sometimes we forget. So when it comes to appearance, I thought there are a few things that we must take into consideration, and those are formal or semi-casual dress. Now, I think one of the things that we always took care of when it was in-person meeting was to dress up for our meetings. I, being a corporate club Toastmaster or a member, I always saw people who were very well dressed because they were anyways dressed for the office. But for the same reason, when it was community club, I saw that people were equally well dressed. So let's also follow that same thing when we are doing a meeting virtually. Let's dress ourselves in a way so that it does not looks very weird, at least a formal setup. For example, if you're giving a presentation or a workshop, something like that, or at least a semi-formal or a casual, semi-casual dress, if I may say so, semi-formal or semi-casual as you say so. I think that is one of the prerequisites even before jumping how we look in video or something like that. And the next thing that I want to talk about is contrasting color. I've seen people who have a light background and then they wear a light shirt, and then only the face is visible because the video is not very clear. So always remember that whenever you wear a dress, if at all you want to wear a white shirt, you can put up a black or a deep blue coat, which is contrasting to the light background. In case if you want to wear a light dress, you have to ensure that you have a dark background, and the only way to have a dark background is through virtual backgrounds that we'll be talking in a while. But let us first see the last thing, and that is the posture above the waist. So whenever we are trying to interact with people over a video medium, we should always ensure that we are seated on a place where we can keep ourselves straight and upright. Now, if we have these three things, I think there is no other prerequisite, and these are some of the simple prerequisites that we can have in order to look good. And therefore, the next thing is the most important thing that I want to talk about today, and that is video. Now, most of the people face this particular problem that when it comes to video medium, I think people say that I don't look good in a video. There are some problem that I would like to switch it off. I'm not looking good, or sometimes the camera is not in a correct position and all of that. Now, if I have to list down some of the points that we can take care of every time we are in front of a virtual medium, I think this can portray a great image. And I will not only share points, but I will also try to show you by some examples right now. So the first thing that everybody or most of the people sometimes do goof up with this is holding their phone in their hands. And I think that is one of the big no-no when it comes to speaking in public. Whenever you are, I mean, it's not always possible to join through a laptop or a computer. So we have to ensure that our phone is rested at a place where we don't hold it in a hand. So what happens when we hold it in a hand, the hand continuously shakes because hand is not so stable that it will give you a feeling that the phone is rested on a stable surface, and therefore you have to keep it somewhere. Now, to show you a simple example, can I have someone whose video is on and who is joined in through a mobile device? Yes, I can see Shubhashri. Shubhashri,
Yes,
can you?
sir.
Okay. Now see, for example, Subhashri right now is joining through a mobile device, and therefore we can see a portrait visual of Subhashri. What if, Subhashri, if I can request you, if you have a place where you can rest your device and you can turn the mobile in a landscape mode. Can you please do it for us?
I can turn it, but right now I can't rest it anywhere. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. You are not in a place where you can rest it, but look at the difference of Shubhashri's video. Immediately, the surface area of the speaker has increased, and now it does not, if the mobile phone is rested in a place, nobody can figure it out that Shubhashri has joined it through a mobile phone. It almost looks like she has joined it through a laptop or a personal desktop. And I think this is one of the things that we can practice whenever we are joining through mobile phone. If you can simply put the mobile phone at a place where it is in landscape mode so that the surface area increases, and rest it at a place where your hands are free, and then you can move away from the device and use your hands. This is one of the suggestions that I would like to give you. No matter if you are joining at any point of time, find a place where you can rest your device. Number one. Now let's move on to the second suggestion that I have for all of you. And that is, just a second. All right. The next point is elevate your device. Now, one of the things that I have always seen is that sometimes uh, people try to put their device and then they look as if the device is down. Okay. Now, when you do that, your eye contact with the audience decreases. So what happens is if you simply elevate your device. So for example, right now I am talking over a laptop, okay, and my laptop is placed over few books, like 3 to 4 books. What it does is the camera or the lens of the laptop's camera is in straight line with my eyes vision, and that kind of gives an illusion to the people that we are speaking to them. So one of the things that we can also do, very simple exercise, is whenever we join in through anything, maybe a laptop or a mobile phone, we have to always try to put it at an elevated position so that your line of sight with your eyes and the camera lens is at the same line. So if we can, and one more thing is, if you are all okay with, you can also try in switching on your video at any point of time in this particular meeting and also see how does that look. So if you are okay with it, you can do, or maybe you can try it anytime later. The next thing that would be is eye contact is only through camera lens. Now I have seen this a number of times that people, most of the times when they look at the audience, sometimes when we are joining the camera, we think that when we look at the gallery view, we are actually looking at the audience. And that kind of distracts the eye contact with the audience. So if you have to look to the audience and if you have to make the correct eye contact, you don't have to look at the laptop screen at all. No matter what is going in the laptop, if you are the presenter or if you are the speaker, the only thing that you should look is looking at the camera lens. Sometimes this is most of the times I've seen in the meetings, what happens is people think that if they're looking at themselves, so what happens is when you speak, you're automatically made the spotlight as the speaker. So what happens is when you are made the spotlight and you see yourself, you tend, or your brain tends to see your own image. Now that is something that you have to avoid. In order to speak to the audience, you have to make sure that you have to continuously see it at the lens. The fourth is have a clear background if possible. Now, this is one of the most important points that I wanted to discuss with all of you. Now, why a clear background is needed? If you can see my background right now, or if you would see Toastmaster Panna's background as of now, you would see that Toastmaster Panna is clearly visible and no part of her facial portion is or does have any noise, any visual noise, right? So it is very much clear, which means that Toastmaster Panna, I believe, must have ensured that her background is a solid background. Now, what I mean by a solid background is, if I quickly show you my actual background, if I remove the virtual background, it would be like this. So right now I am seated in a place where my background looks simple, a wall which is all clear with no particular device or no particular some materials or objects. When if you can ensure that, what happens is you can use your virtual backgrounds even better. Few people think that why my virtual background is not working. Sometimes whatever virtual background you use, the objects of the virtual background come to your nose is not visible. Sometimes your eyes are not visible. Sometimes your entire body is not visible, just the face is visible, and it looks really, really scary sometimes. Okay, so in one of the ways to ensure that you have a clear background is to be seated in a place where you have only the wall with you. Now I know this is not very much feasible for every one of us to do, but we can ensure that at least we have to be seated in a background which does not have human interaction, which means that I have seen in meetings where people are speaking and suddenly somebody comes and opens the door and they are moving across in the room and somebody is doing something else. I once seen a place where something was cooking in the kitchen and the pressure cooker was whistling and we could see all of the things that are happening. I would only like to see all of the things if you have invited me over a dinner or a lunch. I would not like to see that if you are giving a speech. I would not like to see that if you are presenting. I would not like to see that if you are giving a workshop. It diminishes the professionalism of the entire meeting. So one of the ways to make sure is to isolate the entry or the exit door from your view of camera, which means that if you, so for example, if you take my example, I am in an advantageous position because I stay alone. There is no one to intrude while I am giving a speech or a workshop. But not all of us, maybe we are with our family members and family members can come and go across in the meeting while the meeting is going. So one of the things that we can ensure is that the exit or the entry door is not at our background. So what happens is if someone enters, they can enter at a place where they will not be visible in the camera. So that is something that we have to ensure in order to look professional in a video medium. All right, just a second. Okay, camera is a problem. Okay, all right. So the next thing is, the next point is lighting. And I think lighting is one of the reasons why most of us face a problem. Now, if I have to show you how I looked when this entire video medium emerged, or entire video medium of meeting looked like when it all started, I somewhere looked like this. So this was my video quality. It is not very bad, but let me tell you, my laptop camera has a 0.3 megapixel camera, which is way worse than the camera of the Nokia phone that existed. All right, so I could not rely on laptop camera at all. And one of the things you have to ensure, or you have to admit, that no matter how good the presentation or how good your speech is, if you do not look clear, if you do not look a bit better in terms of your virtual background or whatever you have done, I think that is one of the greatest turn off for the audience. So you have to ensure that your video quality is very good. Now, how to ensure that our video quality is very good? I'm not asking you to buy a MacBook Air. Neither can I right now. All right. So I think only the MacBook Air camera is one such camera which gives a beautiful video quality even with the own laptop camera. So I have figured out a way. One of the ways to do that is to combine your mobile video or your mobile camera, which by default we all have good cameras, right? Because we all take selfies, and nowadays, at least in terms of selfies, we do not have those kind of pictures where people would not like to see us. So I assume that all of us have good quality cameras, and there is a way in which you can integrate your phone with your laptop. Now, if you want to know more about that, I can share it with you offline. There is a video in YouTube where simply you can integrate your mobile camera with your laptop camera and your entire. So right now, what you're seeing me is that you're seeing me through my mobile device, but I am joining, or I have joined the Zoom through my laptop, and I can see myself through laptop. So this is one of the ways where you can integrate your mobile camera with laptop camera. These are some technicalities. I know this is very tough to understand and very easier said than done when I'm saying it just like that, but there is a process, and you can simply download an app which integrates both of them, and you can use your mobile camera as your laptop camera, and it is magical, right? Because your mobile camera is obviously good, and that is something that you can try out. So that was one of my suggestions while you do it through your mobile camera. And the last is having a virtual background. Now, how does a virtual background help? Now, sometimes you might have a good lighting, you might have a very good atmosphere in your room, but you might not want people to see what is in your back, right? You might not want people to view the objects of your room, or at times you might just want to look fresh, might just want to look something different, might just want to, have a meeting themed as, say, Halloween, and you have ghost faces as the background. That creates a great impact, right? So that is the usefulness of virtual backgrounds. What you can simply do is you can add various virtual backgrounds just like the way you would like to, and then you can put it. I think all of you know how to put a virtual background in Zoom. I'm not going to show you the technicalities. You can simply go to video, choose a virtual background, and add an image. So I think one of the ways in which we can make meetings more interacting or more interesting is by using a virtual background in while we are talking or while we are speaking. So I think these are few of the things that we can all try out. These are few of the things that I wanted you to all try out in order to look yourself more better. One of the other things that I have seen sometimes is few people take the phone and sometimes they walk around and then they speak. I think that is again something that we have to avoid if we want to create an impact while speaking. If you're only an audience, if you are just listening, if you are just hearing and you are not participating in the meeting, you are absolutely free to have an evening walk and even then attend a Toastmasters meeting. But for me, credibility matters a lot while you speak. And once I think a chunk of your credibility is lost if you walk. I mean, people think that you are taking it very casually. So one of my suggestions here to look even better in video mediums is always be seated in a place when you are talking. If you are listening, you have no restrictions. But if you are talking, in my humble opinion, it would be better if you sit in a place and follow all of this, or at least some of this. I think that will drastically change the way you look in a video. And the next thing that I talked about is the audio, right? So these are the only two things that are needed to ensure that we have good connection. But before I go into that, I would like to show you a picture. So this is a screenshot of a video. The link of that I will be sharing with you towards the end of the meeting. You can go there. The video is titled as How to Look Good on a Webcam. This is a 2 minutes 35 seconds video that changed my perception completely when I saw this for the first time. I did not wanted to show it to all of you right there because I thought that would consume time and I would want you to see it at your own pace. But I would like to urge all of you to once go through this amazing video, the link to which I will be sharing with you in the chat box towards the end of the meeting. The reason why I've taken this screenshot is because They talked about the importance of a light source, the importance of the device, and the importance of your seating position. And this is exactly the screenshot, the point of time in the video where all of the things came very clear, and then the entire look of the speaker was at its best. There was another screenshot just to tell you how ideally it should look. You might not have a table lamp, but what you can have is you can have a source of light right in front of you. So you have to ensure that you are sitting in front of a light source. The light source cannot be behind you, otherwise you will be fully dark. I mean, your face will be fully dark and nobody can see you clearly. So this is a particular screenshot that I wanted to show you, because you can see the laptop is elevated with something which is kept on the table, and then the laptop is placed. There is a specific distance between the laptop and the speaker is sitting right in front of a light source. These are the only three things, apart from the other thing that your background must be clear, in which case the background was clear. When you see the video, you'll understand. These are the only four things by which you can look completely different than you look currently right now. And if you are practicing all of these things, that's great. But if you are not, try to imbibe at least these 3 or 4 things, and I can guarantee you the way you will look will be completely different the next time you come in the video medium. So this was the second thing. And okay, so all right, now I would like to come to the second thing, and of course the last thing, because this is not something that we'll talk on and on about. It's only the video and the audio. In Zoom, there are few things that we have to take care of when we are considering the audio feature in Zoom. The number one is Zoom dial-in. I don't know how many of you have tried it, but Zoom gives you 2 options. One, it gives an option to join through a computer audio, and it also gives an option to make a call, and there's a call back that comes. It works like a bridge. People who have worked in corporates and they have a bridge, they dial in some number and they get joined to bridge. So that is one of the features that can be used. However, this is not one of the usual features. This can be used only when you cannot afford to lose even a single word. Sometimes, you know, your internet connection might be very weak or something like that, and you do not know how it will go. It is a very crucial presentation. At that point of time, I would like you to urge you to use this Zoom dial-in feature. It works brilliantly. There is no lag of audio, and your audio comes very clear because it is not through the internet medium, it's through the phone call. So I think that is one of the features that you can try in, not in usual Zoom meetings, but I just wanted to tell you so that you know that this feature exists. Number 2, which is the most common way by which we join Zoom meeting, is by using computer audio. Now, computer audio are of various types. Why various types? Because one source of the audio is the computer inbuilt system that we simply click on computer audio and it gets joined, and your computer is the way by which you can converse. The other way is to add an external device to make your voice to help your voice seem even clearer. So one of the ways in which I have to join meetings, I have to join online meetings other than Toastmasters meeting as well, where I require to be very, very clear. And I have witnessed that sometimes when I am only talking through my computer, sometimes the audio has some problem. So therefore, I purchased this simple mic. I'm not asking you to purchase this mic, but what I'm telling you is there are various ways to join through computer audio. One of them is to have an USB device which clarifies or amplifies your voice. The other thing is also what happens is a mic or an external device, if you have, it also has a noise suppression quality. So what happens is the other noise are automatically filtered out. Even if there are few things that I can hear right now, you might not be able to hear because the noise is entirely suppressed by this particular device. But this is not a mandatory requirement. I'm just telling you so that if you may wish to sound even more clearer in Zoom meetings, you may use that. Number 3, earphones. And the reason why I have painted it red is because I think earphone is a big no if you ask me in a Zoom meeting. Now, why I say earphone is a big no. What happens is when I use a earphone, I have an earphone right here with me. Sometimes we have this wired earphone, right? And in most of the meetings, you would see people would say that, could you please try to unplug that earphone? And I think you will be heard even better. And sometimes it works. See, the problem with earphone is when you plug a earphone, so if I'm plugging it here and I'm plugging it in my right ear, the mic position is not always at the ideal position. So what happens is when the mic position is not at the ideal position, and if you do not have one of the best earphones, like for me, it is a Samsung earphone, one of the most cheapest earphones that you will get in the market, it sounds very horrible. Now, when people say that I can't hear you, and then the real fun begins. So when people say I can't hear you, so what we normally do is we tend to take this near our mouth, okay, which gives me a kind of vibe, you know, that first love of college or school, and we talk to our lovers like that so that my parents don't hear it. It looks like that. I'm putting it in a humorous way, but I think that that kindly diminishes your online presence to a great deal. I think this is not the way we should be talking in an online medium. So one of the ways is to always trust that your computer audio or your mobile audio works fine. And I think it actually works fine, especially when you're giving a speech. You have it's better that you don't use a earphone. You can use a headphone, and headphone is very professional. If you have a headphone, I have a Bluetooth headphone which looks like this, and I can talk, and it also has a mic. But if you have a headphone which also have an external mic, it looks really professional, and the audio quality is great. But I don't expect every one of us to have that. So in most of the situations, please try to talk simply over a mobile or a laptop, because most of the time it works almost pretty well. So that was my third suggestion. And of course, the fourth suggestion is use noise suppression features of Zoom, which is available in Zoom 5.2. I don't know how many of you have installed the Zoom 5.2, which is the recent Zoom feature, the recent Zoom update. But if you have the Zoom 5.2 installed in your desktop or in your mobile phone, especially in desktop, there is a option in the audio. If you go to audio option, there are options where there is a noise suppression. There is low, there is medium, there is high. Try the medium option. Don't try the high option, because it will not allow. Most of your devices won't have the configuration for the high option. What happens in noise suppression is, even if you have some external noises ringing out there, you don't actually get in, or people don't hear that noise. So that is one thing that I wanted to share with you. All right, now very quickly, I would like to move on to my final thing that I wanted to talk about today, and that is how do we make meetings more interesting in a Zoom meeting? Interesting, or in for that matter, how to make it more productive. These are few of the things that I have noticed in few of the clubs, and I think that works amazing. And if you can try these four things, I think even the guests' participation and the way the guests interact with all of us, even I have seen these videos have also helped turn guests into members, and I'll tell you how. The number one is sharing TI promotional materials. Now, we usually try to join the meetings, say some 15 minutes before the actual meeting time. And recently, the club, TCS Maitri Kolkata Toastmasters Club, the EC, has come up with a really great video. Now, that video contains all the things of Toastmasters in a very beautiful way. So, are you afraid of these things? Do you want to join Toastmasters? How will Toastmasters help you? What is pathways? So, all of these things in a beautiful presentation is played just before the meeting. And then the meeting starts. What happens is when the guests join, and instead of listening to the people who are saying something or we are almost quiet, you can use this time, you can use this virtual medium to promote Toastmasters International in a way so that they have some information even before joining the meeting. That sets great expectations for me, for the guests, and I think that creates more meaning for them to join the meeting. Number two is sharing tag reports. You already know this tag, which is very famous acronym, which is timer, hour counter, and grammarian. I know some of the clubs do it, but I think when the timer, hour counter, or the grammarian shares the report, it would be great if the report is shared, because we have a sharing feature here, through an Excel sheet. Now, I will show you one example here. So, for example, if I am the hour counter of the meeting, and I simply say Toastmaster Panna has these many number of hours, Toastmaster Subhashri has this many number of arms, and all of that, nobody gives very, the entire attention right at that point of time when the R counter report is read out. I think the effectiveness of the report is diminished if it is simply read out. Rather than that, what if you have an Excel sheet where you maintain it throughout the meeting? You are in an online medium, and if you have joined it through a laptop, you can simply show this. So this is also an R counter report, and I have all the R's. What happens is, in a glimpse, everybody can see their own R counts and their own grammar or in their own filler counts. Somebody can take a screenshot, maybe to take a record of the fillers that they have. So I think this is one of the ways that you can do to make it more interesting and to make it more productive, because the essence of the R counter report, or the grammarian report for that matter, increases manyfold if you start sharing the screen and show the report. All right. And the other thing that is also there that I wanted to share with you is this. Okay, so using chat box, poll, and whiteboard. So I know we all use that, but how do we use chat box more effectively? In the meeting, we can, if we are a Toastmaster of the day, if you're asking some question, try to make it as a poll. Sometimes try to simply share a whiteboard rather than asking as a chat board. Again, let me show you an example. So if I share a whiteboard right now, let's say share, and right now what you can see in your screen is a whiteboard, and everybody, for example, if I have to ask you that what comes to your mind when you hear about public speaking, and if you say give your answers in chat, what happens in chat, everybody writes it down and then we can't see it. Sometimes it goes so much. Instead of that, if you can simply share a whiteboard and people start writing something, like for example, they write this, they write something, and everybody has an option to write, and this entire whiteboard is filled with all that information. It looks really, really great. So I think this is one of the options that you can use in order to make meetings more productive. And the last option, before I take the questions, if any, is using advanced sharing features. This is one of the interesting things that I have recently seen in one of the clubs. So what they do is, we always say that let's have a virtual round of applause, and everybody is in mute and everybody claps, but nobody hears and we don't know. So, you know, this clapping sound, I think for me, it was very motivating. When I walked into the stage, one thing that kept me in Toastmaster for years, apart from all the other things that has given me, is the sound of clap. It really, really is very sweet to the ears. And one of the things that they have done it is, when you have this share option, so when you click on the share screen option, which is the green share button option, for people who have joined in the laptop, you can try it right now. Just click on that green share button. You will get an option called advanced. There is basic, there is advanced. Okay, if you go to the advanced option, there is an option called music or sound only. Okay, if you click that, nothing happens. If you click that, nothing happens. You simply select that and click on share. Now what happens is, if you see in the chat box beside my name, there is this audio option right now. Okay, and what happens is, now if I am a tech master, what I'm supposed to do is, I'm just supposed to play a sound clip, which is the clap sound, which would sound like, for example, after every speaker, I would simply play this. That's it. And I think this gives a great amount of pleasure. I mean, at least for me. And I have seen this happening even in the World Championship of Public Speaking. And I think if they can do it in contests specifically, if we can try this, I think this can surely change the way we can do meetings, and can surely change the way we absorb or we feel from the speech that we give. I think that can actually do miracle and magic. So this was me, and this was my content, and I have tried to kept it very easy. I've tried to kept or share secrets that are very easy to implement. There are a few other things that I generally do, not in Toastmaster meeting, but for other meetings where I have to interact virtually. But those are some advanced features for which you might need some advanced materials or objects or devices with you, which I won't suggest for us at least, but for having a good online meeting, at least these are few of the things that we can certainly take care of and make the meetings more interesting. With that, I end it here, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Over to you, Toastmaster Rohan, if you would like to facilitate the question answer session.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Shayak Chandra. Big round of applause for you, Shayak.
Thank you.
A wonderful and erudite session with such fruitful discussions and information. And I simply love two things about your session, Shayak. Number one is, of course, the clap session. I did not know this was possible. We learned it. And number two is that mic of yours. I really want that mic. Well done, Shayak. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, any questions? The floor is open. We can have a discussion. Anything. Please let us know. You can even type it out. You can unmute yourself. You can ask.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I think Toastmaster Panna
এই
has a
একটা
question. Yeah, we also have DTM Satyadip.
Satyadip, sir. Yeah. So, ma'am, Panna ma'am, if you can start.
Distinguished Toastmaster Shayak, I wanted to know that Zoom call-in, right? That feature.
Yeah.
Is it that expensive? I mean, how much does it cost us, or is it free? I wanted to know that.
All right. As far as I know, Toastmaster Panna, it was absolutely free till the time Zoom has really changed some of its policies. So if you can try it out the next time, it only works if you join it through a mobile phone, because it needs to send a call across and you have to receive a call. So it only works. And this is only, so I used it especially when as I said you, I could not afford to lose even a single word of that particular seminar. And it really worked brilliantly even without a strong internet connection. So that is something that I really wanted to see. But if you want to experiment it, please experiment it. Whenever you join that, you get that option and you can let us know maybe. Till a good amount of time when Zoom did not realize that we are the sole supporters of this entire planet, it was free. But the moment they thought that, yes, now we are important, I don't know if the policy has changed. But that is one thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Distinguished Toastmaster Satyadip Basu, sir. If
না
you
না দুটো জিনিস I missed that clap part. What was it? वो clap का sound आता है क्या?
Yes, DTM Satyadip. So what you can do is, if you want to play a particular sound again and again, you don't have to share it again and again, which is a tedious task. So therefore, they have given this feature called advanced sharing feature, where you can simply play that in your device, and whatever you play in your device, if you have shared that, the entire audience will be able to hear it. So for example, if DTM Satyadip, you are the tech master, what you can do is you can take the responsibility of playing that particular audio simply in your mobile phone or in your laptop device after every speech. And that way everybody
আচ্ছা,
can
okay.
clap along.
Got it. আর এই this mic, এই মাইকটা তোর সামনে এটা কি মানে কেনা, মানে is this a real mic?
Yes, this is a real mic, DTM Satyadip. This comes at a price of $2,500, and this is really good, specifically if you would like to suppress the noise. Okay, so even if a bike runs across, if it is making sound, it will suppress it to a large extent. Yeah, so that's how it works.
So it has got this noise correction. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it has got the noise correction. Thank you. Yes, anybody else has any question?
Yes, I am Nidhi here, Nidhi
Yes,
Mata.
Nidhi. Yes, Nidhi.
I wanted to know that if you are giving a PPT presentation, I tend to really incline towards the video camera. So my face is more, my flaws of my face are shown to the world. So could you just advise me that if I am using a PPT, how far I should be sitting, and if I don't have that pointer with me?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so first of all, Nidhi, we are absolutely non-judgmental when it comes to the scars of the face. So you can absolutely come in front of it, and I do not care if I have a pimple right here, right? I do not care. Seriously, I don't care. But
the woman inside me does.
Right, that's a very good question. I was just kidding. Okay. So the ideal distance between you and the device should be of one hand. All right. So if you are at a one hand distance, what happens is the hand gestures also comes very clear. So try to have a one hand distance, but at times if you want to really make a point, you can come across, you can come to the front of the screen, but always ensure that your head is not cut off for the most of the times in your video. Sometimes it might when you come really near to the screen, but most of the times you should have some space left from the topmost. Right now, like I have some space left. So that you have to ensure, and if you keep a one hand distance, I think that's perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Is there any other question?
Hello, can I ask the question?
Yes, Sheetal, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to know that how is the virtual skill set is going to be a key component in the industry thereafter? How do you see its chances?
Very good question, Sheetal. So, just like I said, okay, most of you might not know that uh, we who work in corporate and all those people who are working in corporate, they're not sure if they're ever going to return to their offices, even if the vaccine is out. All right, that is a clear message from all the corporates. And I think one of the things that has really moved across is people have started to realize that it is very cost effective. So right now, if somebody has to give a presentation and if somebody is sitting in the UK, I don't have to fly to UK, I know. And if anybody in future wants to fly to UK, people will give the example of COVID situation and they'll say, look, you did absolutely great job when you were there. So why do you need to fly to places to give a presentation or to talk to people? And I think that is the challenge for people who would like to do foreign trips, but let's not get into there. This is one of the things where actually the virtual medium comes into play. I think everything right from the interview, the TCS, so I work in TCS, the entire interview process of TCS is now online. All the teachers are now teaching online. We are presenting workshops online. Every training of every organization, especially the IT organizations, has gone online. And I think even if the vaccine is out, I think people have understood or realized that online is way more comfortable. So I think if we have almost spent 6 months, right, in Toastmasters. And I think I do not think there is any other platform where you can make flaws in a virtual medium and then still be appreciated. So I think this is the high time. I always say that this is the high time. I know when it comes to contest, few people would say humorous contest, nobody is laughing. How do I crack jokes? There were many problems that people said, but keeping all those aside, I think Sheetal, your question is very apt. Everything has moved online, and I think this is the great time to hone upon this skill. So yeah, that is something that we have to do. Anything else? Yeah, thank you, Sheetal. Anything else? If anybody has any questions.
Hi DTM, Shayak. This is Harsh Gupta this side.
Hi, Harsh.
I have one question. In online meetings, like whenever we are presenting something, like when we are doing a PowerPoint presentation, is there a way on Zoom that we can make both the presenter as well as the slide in a horizontal line, so that like when we are speaking face to face, when we are doing online, when we are doing presentations, the audience tends to see us as well as the presentation at the same time. But on Zoom, most of the time we are only looking at the presentation and not at the speaker. So there are other platforms where we can do these things, but is it possible on Zoom? Means I have not been able to come across that thing.
All right, that's a very good question, Harsh. Very quickly, yes, it is possible in Zoom. If you are joining through a laptop, the only thing you have to do is to resize the screen of the speaker. There is a point of a mouse where you will get it, where you can absolutely resize it, and you can make the speaker size bigger, the presentation smaller, as you would like to wish it. And for example, if you have joined it through mobile phone, you have to simply tap the speaker and then the speaker comes in the front, right? If the speaker is presenting something. And if you tap in the presentation comes in the front and the speaker goes. Of course, in mobile phone, it's a bit difficult to see both of them simultaneously, but it's not like you cannot see the speaker at all. And it's not like you are mandated to see only the presentation. You can simply tap the speaker thumbnail and the speaker becomes the highlight. So that control is with you in Zoom. And I think that works very well. You can try it the next time, Harsh.
Okay, thank you, Bitin.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we have a question from Krish, I guess.
No.
Hi, Krish.
Hi. So I think I caught that last part in which you said that, are you taking questions regarding, I have something specific to contests.
Yes, please.
So, so with contests, when it comes to like, okay, if I put a few books or a cardboard box under my laptop, I can elevate it to a certain height for me to sit and make eye contact.
Yes.
But when it comes to contests where I'm trying to stand and get things done, so
right.
For a speaker, what, as in the guy who has the best hardware around him, that works as an advantage? Or
yes, that's very right. And to show you the hardware, during my contest, I had this.
Okay.
So if you would like to stand and speak, Krish, you need to have a phone stand where you can mount the phone. Otherwise, if you stand, if I now stand and if I deliver, it would be like I am giving you something very horizontally down, and it does not look good. So I think if you, I completely understand your point, and this is how I have done my contest. So I have purchased this. It comes at a very minimal price. It just costs rupees some 699 or 700 in Amazon. Okay, you can buy this. If you really want to stand and speak, you can have this phone stand, you can mount it, and in contests it works wonder.
Super. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I wanted to figure out.
Thank you, Krish. Any other question?
Shayak, you were supposed to share a link for some video. If you
Yes.
could.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I'm just sharing it in the chat box. Yeah. Just share. Is there anyone else who would like to ask any question? If not, we are good to go. Yeah, I've just shared the chat in the chat box, the video to how to look good in a camera. You can simply watch it at your own pace. Yeah. Thank you. All right, I don't think there is any other question. So with that, that was my time. Thank you so much, guys, for being patient to listen to this. I'm not sure if you have learned anything new, as I said, and therefore the first quote that I shared, that remains the only thing that you have learned in this session. If in case if you have learned something new, something different, then it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster Rohan.
Thank you very much, Shayak. Thank you very much for that wonderful session. Can you do me a small favor, Shayak, please?
I could not hear. I could not
Can you
hear
do me
that.
a small favor for me, please?
Yeah, sure.
Can you please click that applause button? I can't do that. You deserve it, my friend. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful session with such key takeaways. I remember a few years back, I was reading a case study about American Airlines, and American Airlines was actually facing a downturn in business. And they were doing a market survey as to why have they been losing out on business. And they understood that during holiday season, the holiday flyers will be the same. So what they actually understood is that the quantity and the number of business flyers have actually come down during the years. Reason being, internet has become more easily available and it is a cheaper option, right? So whatever Shayak said today and whatever he shared with us, I think they are writings on the wall and we should actually imbibe them and get ourselves ready in the revolution that we are facing right now. So again, Shayak, thank you very much. Thank you to all the attendees for attending this session. And with that, I would like to hand it to Toastmaster Sheetal Kumar, who at the end of the day is the brainchild behind this session. So Sheetal, if you can please take the show forward, my friend.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rohan, for that wonderful opportunity to give my thanks to our presenter today. The first of all, that something that I would like to mention about DTM Shayak is I know him when he was not a DTM and he has not changed a bit. He's someone who is always available to help you when you are looking for guidance and anything. It just took a call from me to for him to adjust to this new topic, and believe me, friends, virtual is the new real, and that is what Shayak has given us. Distinguished Toastmaster Shayak has given us. He has brought about the things that we can help ourselves with the virtual meetings, and now we can see how we can actually have a test of real, if not the real. And believe me, virtual is going to be the new real. We are not going to the post-COVID area like the old normal. We will be having our masks. Similarly, we will be having virtual communication as well. So this virtual medium has to be there. We have to learn, as we saw the workshop from distinguished Toastmaster Shayak. And thanks a lot to everyone who came in here, especially distinguished Toastmaster Shayak, distinguished Toastmaster Rohan, Toastmaster Panna, our EC team, Madam President who has just joined in, and it would not be fair if I don't call upon her to just give her valuable feedback about this thing. Madam President, are you there, ma'am?
Yes, I'm here. I'm having some internet issues. I won't be able to turn on my video. But this is a very depressing moment for me because I had to miss this session. In fact, I was looking so forward to it when Sheetal had mentioned this idea. But then duty called, so I had to attend one of those council meetings. I'll be the first one to watch the recording anyway, Shayak. And thank you so much for taking this initiative, because we all have to face the reality that we will be on the virtual medium for quite some time to come. It may have its disadvantages, but I think the advantages way more over. Once again, thank you so much, and I'll give you your feedback after I watch the recording. Because DTM Shayak is one such person who always asks for feedback no matter what, and we are at a word's loss, what do we offer as a feedback? Anyway, thank you so much, and everyone for joining in today as well. And thanks to everyone for their cooperation. DTM Rohan, Toastmaster Panna, the EC, the Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Shilpa. I know a lot of names are going to be missed here, but thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, I think Rohan has something to say.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And before we log off for today, we are Indians, right? And in India, whenever we go to eat in someone's house, we always offer something meetha at the end of the gathering. So we have also something meetha to offer to all of you. Someone has joined us in this meeting today, and she is going to offer all of us something which is meetha to the power 100. So what is that thing? For that, I welcome on the podium, the virtual podium, Toastmaster Nidhi Mota. Ma'am, please take over.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rohan Nag, for that lovely introduction. I was waiting for this moment, and it gives me immense pleasure to announce that our club, Infinity Toastmasters Club, is soon going to celebrate its 100th session. And today I can see that there are lots of mentors and people involved over there when Infinity was an infant, and now when they see that it is growing as a 100th session, I know their happiness will grow as no leaps and bounds. I'm not short of words, and so please, Tech Master, allow me to share an invite to the virtual Toastmasters, and I take this moment to invite all of the eminent participants and the entire virtual Toastmasters to please attend our 100th meeting and kindly grace the occasion. Okay, I'll just share. All right. Thank you so much. To Seema ma'am and the entire EC and the entire virtual Toastmasters members, please grace the occasion and celebrate with us. You will realize that since you are a very new club, you will after a year or so, you will realize the importance of 100th meeting, and trust me, I'll be there with you applauding for the same. So on that note, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to invite all of you. Thank you all. See you on 26th of September, Saturday, 3 to 5. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Nidhi.
Yes, Shayak.
Yeah, before we just wrap up, I just wanted to thank Sheetal for this amazing idea, because this was probably for the first time that I came up with something that I had no idea how to take how to present something in front. Like, he asked me how to be more presentable in video, and the first thing that I did was I said, okay Sheetal, we can do it. I did not know how to do it. I said okay, and then I thought, let's figure it out how to do it. So thank you Sheetal for giving us all of an opportunity to discuss on this topic. I think this was very important, because most of us don't realize that we always focus on, say, projects and pathways and so all the other things, but overall we are doing it here, right, in this particular medium. And it is so great to have a workshop on something over on that particular same thing. Like, for example, if you're asking someone to learn WhatsApp over WhatsApp, it's like that. So it was just like that. So I think this was a great idea, Sheetal. This was very out of the box, something that has nothing to do with Toastmasters at all, because this is now a part of our life, and we are doing so many other things. Like from the past 6 months, I have even seen people celebrating their grandmother's birthday, to office celebrations, to farewell, to proposing a girl. Everything is happening over online medium. So I think it is now a part of life. And thank you so much, Sheetal, and thank you so much, Virtual Toastmasters, for bringing this up, and of course giving me an opportunity to present something which was kind of, if I may think so, as a helpful for all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.